Coming from the Truspace, we ain't answer to big neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's get into the energies of the week. So we're fresh into Pisces season, which is definitely nice for me being a water sign, at least, you know, a little bit less cerebral, you know, things going behind this. Things a little bit more subtler now, you know, it can calm down. It's more my atmosphere, you know, it's more sensing vibes now. So I'm definitely liking it. But yeah, we're kicking off with the new moon on the Monday, the 20th in Pisces, making a trine with the South Node in Scorpio. How do you think this water energy is going to hit us?
So this new moon is putting us in a new emotional space to really have a new feeling, a new ways of connecting emotion to a new dream or illusion, or a new faith, or a new belief system. Really allowing us to open ourselves to what could we possibly manifest, or what we could manifest also as like La La Land, aka being delusional, being chaotic, and things like that, depending which state we put ourselves into. Especially with the trine to the South Node in Scorpio. The South Node in Scorpio is going to present a lot of your old vulnerabilities that you need to detach from. And the new moon in Pisces, if you want to achieve certain things, believe in certain things, you have to really face your vulnerabilities and broaden your scope of these vulnerabilities with the waters of Pisces. It's broad emotion, while Scorpio is fixated emotion. But also Scorpio fixated emotion will give you like a sense of solidifying, so you don't be so mutable, so indecisive, and so on and so forth. So this is definitely allowing you to figure out where do you want to go with your dreams and illusions, as long as you're willing to go through the right opportunities to detach from these vulnerabilities and not run towards them, depending if you decide to be delusional when it comes to this new moon and Pisces.
For sure. I feel like, you know, even me just being a Scorpio sometimes, I feel like seeing the flunked outness in the other water signs often wakes Scorpio up to what it's doing, the energy and emotions that it's holding on to. It'll be looking at Cancer, being all sensitive, catching all these feelings and shit like that. And then, you know, seeing the beginning phases of something accumulating to become a grudge, for something to become a block, for something to become, you know, toxic energy that's building up. Then it sees Pisces, and the end result of that, you know, when it creates a delusional state of being, a state of being that you don't want to be in, that's not real. And it kind of wakes Scorpio up. So I feel like that's what this new moon is. When we're in this subtle energy on this new moon, this opportunity to create new beliefs, new systems, new ways of expanding our emotions and connecting with the surroundings and everything around us, that'll give us this heightened sensitivity to kind of ease our South Node in Scorpio, that's, you know, kind of showing us the insecurities that we're holding on from, the insecurities that we came from the past from, and kind of giving us like a flash forward of what if we continue holding on to the past, if we can continue holding on to that energy, how delusional that we can be, you know. So we'll get a flash of that and have that subtle reality check of where our emotions are going, and when the prime opportunity to redirect them into a healthier direction. But what about the square at Mars and Gemini?
So as you're allowing yourself to be in this new emotional space to really dream and have more belief system for whatever you want to do, you're forced to go through the necessary learning opportunity with Mars and Gemini, because you have to be passionate and aggressive with your ways of communicating and analyzing about what you're passionate about and aggressive about. But here with the new moon in Pisces, you could use that as the subconscious direction to know what to do with Mars and Gemini. So Mars and Gemini does not get you in like unnecessary useless conversation, debates. You waste all that nervous system energy in breathing the wrong things or the wrong information. But pay attention to informations and conversation related to you, what you're dreaming about, what you're emotionally opening about in terms of your belief system and things like that. But you have to pay attention to not get lost in these conversations that might muddy the water with what you want to have faith in, what you want to have dreams and illusion about, especially with Mars and Gemini, because it could be make you quite try to communicate what you're trying to dream about, but like you still want to dream about what you want to dream about. But that's the challenge you have to go through.
100%. I always see confusion within mutable squares, and if you don't know what you're trying to get out of, both energies that are squaring or going at it, or what can be learned out of it, you'll just end up staying confused. So yeah, for sure. Just like what Herod said, that passion and that drive to communicate and to analyze things may really have us questioning our belief system, and we're getting into conversations with people or arguments with people that are challenging our belief systems. But it's a great opportunity for us to learn, that balance. Maybe we're entertaining a little bit too much conversations and not enough, visualizations and understanding what it is that we want. Or maybe those conversations do help squeeze in that little bit of fact that we do need for our dreams to come through, and that necessary challenge for you to question the dream and illusion that you have, to question the factual evidence so you don't get lost in a delusion. So you kind of do have to placate with some of that cerebral energy, even when things are being surreal, even when things are being like that. Do you want to just leave it up to your dream to be influenced to becoming a nightmare? It can be a nice dream, but it can easily turn into a nightmare if you're just being influenced. But if you're lucid, you can direct more where your dreams are heading. So a little bit of cerebral.
This alignment, it reminds me of like kind of meditation with the new moon in Pisces and the Mars in Gemini, because Mars in Gemini is forcing you to breathe through your respiratory system as you're having all these spiritual experiences that come to the new moon in Pisces. But the more you control your breathing, the more you could like anchor it, control and make sense out of it, instead of being so la la land, getting lost in that deep state where it doesn't make sense. And actually, I bet this is what goes a lot with people with what do you call it? That goes through like sleep paralysis and things like that. They lose the ability to breathe oxygen, which allows them to anchor their body down, as opposed to get lost in all these dreams and illusion, which causes their body to shake and go through these psychotic states and shit like that. Lacks of oxygen, lack of blood flow, and then
leads to the imbalance, and then the subconscious takes over or something like that, and you see a demon or something like that. For sure. Then there's also a sextile with Uranus and the North Node in Taurus with this new moon. How do you think that's going to be hitting us?
So Uranus and the North Node in Taurus is forcing us to obviously be unique and original, and the North Node is creating our spiritual path. But we have to be unique and original and create our spiritual path when it comes to what's going to make us safe and secure, and what's going to help us make money and sustain ourselves. What makes me comfortable does not make you comfortable. So you got to figure out what makes you comfortable, especially with Uranus being here. Debilitated, which a lot of people look at it as bad, but actually it's not. Taurus is a fixed sign, so a lot of time the world is so fixated and prevents us from doing certain things. I bet with Uranus in Taurus, it shakes the world enough to create opportunities for people they never had before, all the way for kids to make like millions of dollars and shit like that. Cause it's shaking reality to a level for everybody to move reality for themselves. But that's if they're willing to put all that nervous system input, aka move their body, being aware with their physical senses, as opposed to allow reality to push them back, make them nervous, like Remember when COVID started? At some point, people ran to the like grocery stores to get like toilet papers. But like you don't know why the fuck everybody had toilet papers. But that's because they didn't have control comes to their nervous system. But this is the whole thing with Uranus and Taurus, force you to really create your own nervous system power, so you control your physical body, so you don't get scared, so you don't get worried, and you know how to be unique and original. So this sextile, I bet if you in the right emotional space to really believe in whatever dreams and illusion you want, you can see an opportunity and how you could bring that dreams and illusion, especially with everything shaking around. There's more possibility for you to bring the subconscious world, what's behind the scene, into a physical world. It's not that hard anymore. And I bet with the new moon in Pisces, you feel more emotionally connected towards your belief system to do that and things like that.
100%. For sure. I feel like Taurus has a nurturing quality to it too. You would normally attribute that to Cancer, maybe, but they're both have the moon energy. I feel like Taurus is more of a nurturing aspect where it gives you the resources that you're going to need to build yourself up, and then Cancer maybe heals you when you fall down and scrape your knee, or heals you when you get injured on that journey.
Yeah, I would say Taurus, their nurture is like dry, but it's stable. But at the end, you know the Taurus nurtured you. With the Cancer, is more like straightforward. You felt it, but later on you realize it, whether did he nurture you or not, or did he put you in a flunked out emotional place.
Exactly. That's why, like say, breastfeeding is kind of like a given. It's kind of like a necessity, or that the baby needs food. Where you're nurturing the child, but maybe that's not necessarily. I guess it is motherly because the moon is still there and it does have that energy, but it's not necessarily active nurturing. Like active healing. It's kind of just like a necessity of nourishment. So I feel like that's what Taurus has, where it's like where it's an accumulation of all of the things that I'm gonna need. So if you're connected with your dreams and illusions, and they're grounded, it's gonna lead you to the things that you're going to need within this real world, that you're going to need to make those dreams come true. And that may be confronting, things that are uncomfortable, or becoming a little bit more unique and original within that area. But there's going to be that opportunity for us to capture that. Mercury in Aquarius, sextiling Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. How do you think this is going to hit?
So as we've been thinking, communicating, and developing a mentality surrounding our association, what we want to be progressive in, how we want to be unique and original, and developing all these thoughts is allowing us to see opportunity on how we could add more logic and structure to what we've been building, and try to expand knowledge and wisdom in for our individuality, that self-expression, add more information, make it more presentable. But also Jupiter and Chiron in Aries is giving is providing Mercury in Aquarius as an inspiration, a vision for it to know what information to chase, so it doesn't get lost in all these new groups, these new ideas that we being communicated about. So to see the right opportunity based on what you're trying to expand in.
Based off of what you're trying to expand in, for sure, it gives direction to that expansion, because Mercury can get in the way of Jupiter. In terms of the detours, Jupiter's like the long trip, the big trip, and Mercury is like the smaller strips. So this is you're trying to complete, trying to beat the game, do the main story, and all of these fucking side quests that come up, and it could be interesting or whatever, but the side quests kind of take you away from the game, and then now the game that would have took you maybe 5 hours took you 30 hours to go and complete. So when Mercury's working against Jupiter, it could be a longer journey. But right now Mercury's helping because of this accumulation of knowledge and awareness and this directedness of focus. So it's really getting out of Jupiter's way, or giving Jupiter the fuel it needs to expand itself further. Jupiter's like at the beginning of the journey, like the beginning of the things. So like Mercury is like right now it's all of the beginning quest or the little side quests that get you the armor, that get you all the things that you're gonna need for further expansion.
And I bet that will help you prevent a lot of wounds and unnecessary damages when it comes to Cardi and the Aries, because you're getting the right information on how to facilitate who you are with other people.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. And then look at a trine with Mars and Gemini. How do you think this adds to the energy?
So this is gonna create
Mercury and Aquarius.
this is gonna be a lot of opportunities for you to take action, but take action on what you're thinking about. But then with Mars and Gemini, since you're taking action on your what you're analyzing, what you're communicating about, you're thinking about your passion and desires. You gotta that's gonna be directed by Mercury and Aquarius. Since Mercury and Aquarius, you think about your association and what you want to be progressive in a higher sense, and this is gonna allow you to direct your passion and desires properly, and not get lost in all those animalistic aspect of Gemini. Is that double-sided ways of communicating and taking action, and that leads nowhere. Mercury and Aquarius could give you like the scope or the higher understanding of reality to know how to take action properly, but also Mars and Gemini will provide Mercury and Aquarius versatility, a more broad ways of handling its association, since it's bringing new information and it's picking things on the spot that Aquarius may not be able to pick up, since it's so fixated on what it wants. So you're gonna be able to think and like box people at the same time, type of energy. But also you can get lost in that ability too. So you gotta be careful. There's a lot of air element.
For sure. That reminds me of Project Veritas. You know who Project Veritas is?
No.
Project Veritas is a social or a journalist company or a news company that secretly records certain people sometimes and then catches them saying these things. They're catching Pfizer officials. How you don't know about Project Veritas, fam? They're catching Pfizer officials, a whole bunch of people. They caught like workers that are in the places. They think they're on a dinner date or something like that, and there's a hidden camera, and they'll be videotaping them talking about some shit. So that the whole thing that you're just talking reminded me on that, because you have to be. They're collecting information and they're journalists. There's a mission, but then they're exerting energy in the analytical. Being whatever. Being loose. We don't have to keep on talking about this. Maybe we can dance around and come around and just so you can extract more information.
Yeah,
So
they do that a lot with interrogation, like they and it will blow your mind how they come full circle to what they want to know without you realizing, like you giving out your own information
that you had given that information. 100%. 100%. So that's the peak of what that trine energy can do. Or you can get lost in it, or you could be looked at mischievous and manipulative, or you could get too cerebral about it and not actually get any results. But at the peak, you can really collect some information and nobody even knows that you came out of there with the information, or you came out with more than what people are willing to give, or what you thought you may even be able to extract from a situation. Venus entering Aries.
Oh, so now of Venus, what we love, appreciate, indulge in, how we relate, all is going to be directed in the energy of being single-minded, selfish about what we love, appreciate, indulge in, which is good, since it makes you prioritize your love matter first and what you desire, as opposed to desiring and tend to relate to other people first. But here it could be quite selfish and force you to create unnecessary burning type of bridges and situations and things like that. Like remember Hernan? His father had Venus in Aries, and he told me about the way his father expressed love with anger. And that's one of the ways you remember that with Venus in Aries, the way you express your love might be perceived too selfish, too single-minded, too angry, and you may not understand that because you're trying to get hold of love. You're trying to be selfish with it, and it doesn't do too great in Aries. It's debilitated here. Even in a biology point of view, think about your like harmony is the same thing as hormones. So within Aries, fire sign like that, it could really get a lot of inflammation within the way you create harmony, your hormones. So you look crazy in your first house. You don't have to express love. So this is something to definitely watch out for. But Venus in Aries could definitely like fight and have passion for like what you love, what you want to relate to. So you like prioritize yourself. So don't you don't allow someone else to take advantage of you. But this is gonna be kind of dependent based upon the seeds you planted there. When Venus was in Pisces, did you have good dreams and illusion about what you wanted, or did you have dreams and illusion about things that's unnecessary? So when you come out to the real, you wake up from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. from the Pisces realm, which is 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. You wake up to a good things to do. Yeah, have something to do. You uphold something as opposed to waking up. Yeah, you about La La Land type of shit.
Real shit. Real shit. For sure. Whatever seeds that we were planting when Venus is in Pisces, I bet we were, stubborn, idealizing relationships. I don't want to get in. I don't want that. I don't want that because I have this image, and if it doesn't fit up to this image, I don't really want it. But Venus going into Aries, depending on how you handle that energy in terms of, having appreciation for the energy and vibe of things and the belief system that went behind, the physical things or even our relationships. When Venus goes into Aries, we're going to have much healthier energies to start relationship. Venus in Aries gives you the energy to be more explorative with your relationships. If your dreams doesn't necessarily get fulfilled, or you came to the realization of what the idyllic relationship would be, the idyllic relationship with an object or how that looks like, Venus in Aries is the time where you can start that contact and you can do the trial and error in connecting to see if that can work. So it's very primed for those new relationships to let's see if I like it. Will I like it? I don't really know. It's seeing what you like, but you can do that more effectively with less trips and falls and less struggles, the more understanding that you had when it was in Venus and Pisces, and understanding what it is that you want, what it is that you idealize, but just like what you were saying with Hanane's dad, it's funny, he died of cancer. So his hormonal system, just like what you're saying, harmony and hormones is the same thing. Your hormones is like a equilibrium balance. So, and somebody who's angry, look at you're focusing on cortisol, the stress hormones, and those deregulate all of the other things that are going on and creating that imbalance. So that Venus and Aries can really, or that's jumpy immune system. If you're always getting angry, always shooting your body with adrenaline and cortisol and stuff like that, naturally your whole hormonal system starts attacking you.
And Venus in Aries, like you would have a fried brain nervous system because they can't cool it down with the necessary hormones and shit like that.
For sure, I still see that. So yeah, that's how Monday's looking. Very energetic day. Very energetic day. There's going to be a lot of help, but there's going to be some challenges. Challenges coming more so in the shape of confusion with that square with Mars and Gemini. But as long as we really tune in to what we want this new belief system to be, of how we want to connect with everything in the world, and that starts with your belief system and how you believe and choose to look at the world and how you feel about the world. Everything cascades from there. So if you check that box and make sure it's healthy expressions that you are drawing upon, you'll be able to see all the other opportunities that these planets are providing you and be able to navigate that confusion too. So looking on Tuesday, we have the moon conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. How do you think this conjunction is going to add to this sensitive energy?
So Neptune is going to boost whatever you're having dreams about, whatever your fantasy is, or it might take you to a realm of addiction, a realm of trying to escape reality, which lead to confusion here. The conjunction lead to it, like it's your superpower, like it boosts your energy to do that whole things relate to your subconscious mind. But here is you gotta be sensitive with what you want to indulge in, and not to indulge with every single feeling, thoughts that you receive when it comes to this conjunction, because it can be quite so powerful. It could drift you to realms of reality that could distract you from doing certain things to manifest what dreams and illusions that you want to. A lot of times Pisces, they get lost in the whole aspect of dreams and illusions to the point that they don't do what they want to do. And not only Pisces, all of us, because we all have a 12th house. A lot of time we end up having fantasies more about what we want to do as opposed to doing it too. But he obviously is giving us the energy to really believe and develop that energy there, so we could actually lead to some form of physical action, hopefully, because we know the moon conjunction Neptune is sextile Uranus in Taurus too. So the more you could kind of believe something good, you could really find an opportunity to create here.
Yeah, we have to be really aware of the passivity that that Pisces energy can do, where we get stuck in the dream world and get stuck in La La Land, and don't ever bring that energy back into the real world and into that fun times. Look at the religious perspective of people expecting a gift in the afterlife, and they're spending all this time now creating illusions and imaginations of how the afterlife is going to be, and not trying to bring that. That even if that's what the afterlife is, why don't you bring some of the aspects down now? Why wouldn't you come to that conclusion lately? Oh no, I'm just in my dreams and illusions. Nah. When I look at the world here, it's harder to see that stuff, so least resistance. So I stay up here and run away, and that's what you can use religion as a drug, because it's tuned to those belief systems, tuned to hitting those. Look at what Jesus would do. Gives you peace, gives you make you feel loved, universal love. Those are all the emotions that you get from drugs. Opioids trigger, and morphine and stuff like that trigger your endorphins, your natural painkillers, your natural happy feeling, I'm in love type things. Peace, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. Don't niggas do that to calm down and stuff like that, so it's triggering the same hormones. So we can all use those things, so we can really start using spirituality, the sauce, drugs, imagination, stories, television shows, books, fantasy worlds, to really escape from our problems or get lost in them. Or these things are what's shaping our subconscious mind. This is what's shaping our belief systems. Most of us is raised off of Disney.
Oh,
to be honest.
I was just gonna say that. Have you ever heard of Disneyland, yo? Literally, they are a lot of our dreams and illusion about someone dreams and illusion, which is crazy, because that would create a lot of traumatic experience on a subconscious level. You may not realize it. When you develop your belief system around another person's belief system, that creates a lot of fogginess. And when you come to realize what happened, it creates a lot of self-hate and shit like that. This is why Pisces is all about
100%.
escaping reality. All the escaping reality leads to a lot of karma.
100%. 100%. If you really look at it, look at all the demonic depictions of women, and they're always witches and stuff like that, or the damsel in distress. And if you look at the world right now, I swear to God, it's the women that's what's wrong with the world right now, because they're the ones that have the motherfucking babies. They're the ones that niggas is only trying to get some coochie. So if the requirements to get some coochie required a nigga to act right, a nigga would act right. But so if niggas ain't acting right, you damn sure the requirements to get some coochie ain't requiring a nigga to act right. But how it starts from there, and it's shaped by a lot of belief systems that Disney, came up with, or that Love and Hip Hop came up with, or that whatever dumbass things that we be watching on television, came up with, that we didn't really experience in our life, but it's influences that come from us aware. So we're gonna be so sensitive to that on Tuesday. And we can either use these things to free ourselves. The moon's here, the healing, and you're feeling like, oh shit, I have this belief system. I negatively believe that, or this is influencing me. And you can kind of cleanse that. Or you can get consumed by it. So that's how Tuesday's looking. Looking at Wednesday, we have the moon conjuncting Venus, and Jupiter and Chiron and Aries. How do you think this whole conjunction's gonna hit us?
So as your emotion coming from trying to connect with your dreams and illusion, now having this conjunction to Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, and Aries, the moon, your emotions and feelings are forced to uh, control what you love and desire, what you appreciate, and to indulge in, or become aware of these things with a conjunction to take more control of your what you love and desire with Venus, and then what you try to expand, extract knowledge and wisdom in, but also where you're wounded when it comes to all your sense of individuality. Aries. So the moon here is allowing you to really feel on what you need to do to develop that sense of individuality, that sense of how you could go about giving birth to what you want to do here, especially about having all these planets in Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, and Aries, making you aware of how to go better. Venus forcing you how to show more love, appreciation, relatability. Jupiter is forcing you to add more wisdom, knowledge, aka the father energy. And Chiron is making you sensitive on how you go about the way you be single-minded. And the moon is forcing you how to add more emotions to these things, so you don't just be so selfish and direct-minded, so individualistic, so tribalistic, with here being Aries. The moon is allowing you to know how to emotionally connect with these things to go about it. And the trine to the Lilith in Leo is allowing you to go through the right opportunity on to Lilith is your emotions, but the dark side of your emotion. But here in Leo is the dark side of your emotion when it comes to your self-expression, your creativity, how you want to express yourself. So I bet with the moon conjuncting Jupiter, Chiron, and Aries is gonna make you become more emotionally aware on how to handle that individuality and create the right opportunities for you to learn how to handle Lilith in Leo, your embarrassment.
I guess it gives even the opportunity to see the energy, to deal with the dark side of your creative expression, because and your individuality. Look at all this energy in Aries. There's a lot of things that are going to come out raw. So that dark side of the creativity is bound to be shown. So for sure, and either it be something that you want to facilitate, or something that you didn't know that was there, that you need to correct, or like a hidden demon or something like that, or a hidden frustration that you didn't know about. For sure. So much energy in Aries. There's definitely primed for some frustration, whether it be relationship wise, expansion wise, because you have Jupiter there. A lot of intensity is going to go on, and then we may be more emotionally responsive to these things. Very emotionally impulsive on Wednesday. So there's going to be a lot of things to be pushing our buttons on Wednesday. So we want to be using these things to create new opportunities. Aries energy is about birth, so we can give birth to new things. We can do trial and error and see how things work, and learn about ourselves. But don't let the friction come. Don't let niggas play with you on what that energies, or to draw out anger from you. Understand it's the trial and error, and that a lot of times we feel that we waste energy on people, but we have to stop looking at it like that. Our interactions with people can always be a learning experience. If you keep on mentally writing things off as a waste, your mind subconsciously doesn't store it as something prominent, and then you end up doing the same thing again, and then the same thing ends up happening. So learn from them. What about the in conjunction with the South Node in Scorpio,
So like, as you're
with the
trying,
Moon in Aries and all this Aries energy?
so obviously as you're trying to give birth to all these things and create all these opportunities for you to deal with Lilith and Leo, you have to become more aware on your about your vulnerabilities, your fixated emotion that's behind the scene that's preventing you from giving birth to your visions and imagination, which is it's in conjunction. So you may not be aware of that directly, but it's actually was what directly you need to do so you could actually express who you are. Go to the go to the bottom base of the eighth house, because the eighth house is the feminine side of Mars, and you gotta detox that part of the system. So when you utilize the masculine version of Mars, your first house, your brain and nervous system, you could actually have a proper expression.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That impulsiveness can really reveal some of the insecurities that you have back, or some patterns that you may rely on that maybe you weren't giving enough credence to. So, um, definitely expect to be aware of that. Wednesday may be a frustrating day, or maybe a trying day, or it may be a very energetic day, or where a lot of things get started. It all depends on how you use that energy.
That's a lot of fire energy. Yeah. Even
Hell of a lot
Scorpio,
of
yeah,
fire.
because Mars rule sign too. So
Yeah. And that's Wednesday. Looking at Thursday, we have the moon late in Aries now, making a sextile with Saturn in Aquarius. How do you think this energy is hitting us?
So as you're in this emotional state to give birth to to give birth to what you're passionate about, what you're aggressive about, based upon what you dreamt about, or what you have delusion about, this is what you're gonna be trying to emotionally give birth to, or try to be aggressive about. You seeing opportunity on how to take all those new emotions and feelings about your passion, and this is incorporated with Saturn Aquarius, the collective. How you're trying to incorporate your own sense of reality into the group, and it bring the individuality to it based upon how you feel, but also with the sextile, you're gonna see how Saturn Aquarius is trying to control that sense of impulsiveness that you're gonna try to express emotionally, making you learn how to control that trigger when it comes to that expression about with your vision and imagination, aka that fire, make it control and make it have a purpose.
Exactly. For sure. Really making it have a purpose, because if you don't like how you're emotionally responding to your individual expression, or it's not being received, or you're experiencing that frustration, that's the first impetus of change. Like, then that's where what anger really lets you know. It's just letting you know your boundaries that you are working against. That's what anger is. That's when you get angry, and that's what frustration is. It's letting you know your limits, letting you know your boundaries, and whether you want to respect them or expand them or surpass them. So knowing your limits, Aries really makes you know your emotional limits and where you're going with that energy. So it's definitely creating a lot of opportunity for Saturn, to for us to learn better how to operate within the limits that the world is setting, and the limits that we have within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. That emotional energy, that emotional fire can really help, solidify that teamwork makes the dream work. Um, that frustration or willingness to change, that willingness to try, can really help you obtain more structure and stability within your associations and how you work with other people. Looking at Friday, we have the moon conjuncting the north node and Uranus in Taurus. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So the moon in Taurus right now is gonna allow us to emotionally heavily focus on safety and security, because the moon is exalted here. But what we're emotionally trying to securitize, stabilize, is based upon what we've been passionate and aggressive about when the moon was in Aries. But that what we were passionate and aggressive about was obviously based upon the new moon in Pisces, our dreams and illusions. So now this is time for us to ground these things on a physical level, and trying to make it part of our reality, incorporate it, work on it, find how can we ground it, create a cup for it based upon that to stabilize ourselves when it comes to this whole conjunction with the northern Uranus in Taurus. Knowing obviously there's no security in the physical world, so we're gonna find the security, but that security is being we have the inspiration to find insecurity from the moon and Pisces, so that'd be good. But at the same time, it could provide you a sense of anxiety trying to figure out ways or how you can find security too. So you gotta be watch out for it.
I get what you mean, or get confronted with the lack of resources, or the lack of stability to go and create that Sun in Pisces vision, the imagination that we have, the greater connection that we have, and we can either take that.
It looks like Kanye West going on Joe Rogan telling him he's trying to buy Earth.
Oh shit! Yeah, exactly. And then you get.
And
That's exactly what he's trying to do. That's exactly how expansive he thinks himself is as, for sure. Then you get confronted with the reality, how you don't have the resources and material and all of that.
but you know that creates a lot of opportunity and possibility for him that other people never thought. That makes him like like it's Kanye West, the character that sells itself, just like 50 Cent. Even if you separate them from their career.
Exactly, and all of they need now is the resource. They already have the vision. Like people don't realize, like, say if Kanye West had Elon Musk money, I don't think people understand what the world would look like. If people understand, we would all be rocking Yeezys. I don't think we understand because of the creative and imaginative aspect. He probably would have lost $1 billion. It would have all went to something else. But just because of the expansiveness of his belief system, of what he believed to be possible, created the opportunity for Taurus to work with. Then now you can build up to that goal. But if you never had that expansive belief, you'll never build up to be able to achieve that goal because you didn't even believe that you can go that far.
I heard Andrew Tate mention something similar. He said, have a big ego, then justify to work it, as opposed to the other way around. I'm like, yeah, makes so much sense, yo.
Aim for the stars,
Yeah.
and if you get some clouds, it's all right, for sure. Absolutely. But that sun energy can really make you, want to escape or focus on the negative aspect. Oh, I don't have enough resources to get my dream. I'm going to worry more. I'm going to create more imaginations and illusions and feelings about not having enough security, and really making it worse, and really getting emotional about materiality, when that's not the vibe that we need to be on. Materiality is really to help support us, reach this spiritual enlightenment, reach this heightened belief system. Us mixing with nature, ruling with nature, shows us what we can truly be and how interconnected that we really are. But if we get stuck on certain aspects of it, we won't be able to see that message. So we have to be aware of that trap on Friday, and connect with nature, connect with physicality. Oh, this is the ideal that I have of my creative expression, of the life that I want to live, and now you're mostly responding to the stability that it'll give, or the resources that it's going to require. All right, buckle down, and create that, or really visualize it so it can be something, instead of get hung up on not having enough yet.
You could say the sun
Square to Mercury and Aquarius. Oh, sorry.
the sun in Pisces is like creating for you the path for you to go into when it comes to physical reality, since there's nowhere to go into. Basically, but either way, the square with the Mercury and Aquarius is obvious as your emotion reacting. What you need for your spiritual path and uniqueness and originality to achieve safety and security. You have to work hard and go through the necessary learning opportunity on how to communicate and who to associate with when it comes to the right mentalities, the right thoughts and ideas. Is the moon conjuncted the northern Uranus might get you too scared, too worried with all the lack of opportunities, but you have to go create the opportunities. But it's necessary for you to use the Mercury and Aquarius to bring those high thoughts into like what's happening with the moon conjunction North and Uranus, since it's everything happening within the physical reality. But it's hard for you to bring yourself out of it. This is what Mercury and Aquarius does. It brings you out of it, make you see around it, so you don't get lost in it with the feelings and emotion. And the square, and the square is like the learning opportunity for you to learn how to control these two aspects.
100%. 100%. I bet Aquarius is trying to get you to, look forward, progressive, trying to come up with new ideas and trying to plan ahead into the future, maybe of how you can get these resources ahead of time, maybe of how you can, appear or talk about certain things, or to push things forward. But our emotions being in Taurus are going to be moving a little bit more slow like, so emotional revelation may come a little bit slower than our mental is thinking. So we have to slow down our mentalities somewhat, and stop trying to focus too much on progression on that day at least, so our emotions can catch up, so that we can collect the information that our emotions are giving us about how we feel about stability, so that we can properly plan. Because otherwise we'll just be responding to the materiality, come up with a plan that actually doesn't work, or that we don't feel right about, because we didn't allow our feelings and emotions to unravel. So don't be too quick on making decisions about that instability or about your dream on Friday. Give it some time. And so that's how Friday's looking. Looking at Saturday, we have the moon in late Taurus squaring Saturn in Aquarius. How do you think this square is going to hit?
So right now and Saturday, you're gonna have to go through a lot of learning opportunities on how to incorporate your emotional state that is focused on safety and security into the overall realm of reality that requires you to bring more reality, create more boundaries and restriction on how you associate and what you focus on when it comes to your mind, what type of technology you try to incorporate to your realm of reality. But all that necessary explosion that's necessary for you to do when it comes to all these new things related to AI, eugenics, people able to change their genders, people able to change their uterus. You're gonna have to utilize the moon in Taurus to make you really feel into what makes you feel safe and secure, so you know on what learning opportunities or what work you need to do to bring more reality into those association or those ideas that's for you, that's gonna help you progress your own sense of safety and security.
100%. I think this is why, Taurus also correlates to trust.
It's funny. I was reading an article about now you're able to basically you could give a man a uterus, basically cut up a woman uterus, plant it inside a man, have the baby inside the uterus, and then remove the uterus and then move it out. Like, we're getting so creative with the way we engineer the human body, we're not even aware of it, and that leads to a lot of problem.
100%.
Like being too smart for our own good with what is basic. Our body is not that good.
Exactly. I get what you mean, and that's that square where that newness and where not all of these ideas, make sense, or are going to fit us emotionally right. Even when you go through those experiences, people think that maybe that's going to make them feel like now they're an actual mother, like they gave birth to the baby.
Yeah.
Or go through the experience and pass the cerebralness. That actual reality isn't there. The hormones that got released from the natural processes, the natural endorphins that get released, the oxycontin that makes the mother feel love, that makes the baby feel love, and that bonding moment at birth, That doesn't what they're gonna inject you with morphine or something like yo, that's so external. And then where did they get the morphine and that? And you're adding so much energy that's not was going to be a part of it, of that natural experience, that you're not even turning yourself into a woman. You're turning yourself into
a Frankenstein,
a person who had a baby. Something new. You can come up with the name that you want. You can come up with whatever name that you want. But that's not the energy that you were initially trying to mimic. So that's where that forward progressive thinking can come against that tradition, what's tried and true, or what's already known. And there's going to be that contrast. Not necessarily saying that that's necessarily bad. You know, what if, you know, certain situations where that could play out as a positive, or, you know, certain applications of that knowledge can come up, but not to some type of political ideology or shit like that.
But,
then that's where we're getting flunked out.
But you also gotta realize all these things related to like changing genders and shit like that. These things were happening since the beginning of time. People back then were speaking about it, like gender oppositions, heterosexuality, gay, lesbian, whatever. These were conversations from the beginning of time. They were having systems of civilization set for a way for them to survive, so they could do something and shit like that. And we gotta realize a lot of these conversations we have are not like they're not that new. This is boring, remixed it with more technology. That's why they look like more expanded. They have more ability to do more of the old shit. That's it.
100%. 100%. It's funny, look how they talk about Christianity, talking about Christianity's against gays. So Christianity had the people who brought the inception of Christianity were the gayest niggas alive at the time. Dude. I don't know what the fuck we even talking about that shit with these Roman ass niggas.
Yeah.
Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yo, dude, that's crazy because the term romantic comes from like Roman antics. But a lot of people are not aware of that. Yeah.
And it's always nigga to nigga. It's always dude to dude. It's always a bunch of men's club type shit. So they've been doing it, and then they try and say that Jesus hates gays. In the Bible, they asked Jesus about eunuchs, and people maybe just don't know through translations that eunuch sounds like a person who was castrated, got their dick cut off, but it's also was a term used to refer to somebody who chose not to use that part. So maybe because maybe they're gay or maybe for other reasons. So symbolically, they were eunuchs because they didn't use that part where it might have been took off. And he said, even those guys have their place in heaven. When he was asked about eunuchs. So that kind of gets glossed over. So it's like, how is niggas pinning this whole story about this fictional character and how he felt, and he didn't feel the way that y'all niggas talking about this nigga who wasn't real that you're trying to make real. It's like, damn, bro.
You know,
like, damn.
Me and one of my buddies at work were speaking about how they're gonna incorporate, how they're gonna use religion to basically bring more confirmation to this whole LGBT community agenda by changing certain verses. I was telling about how they're gonna change the sort of Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve is gonna be Adam and Steve or shit like that.
Yeah. I swear to God.
And they're gonna do some Jesuit shit. They're gonna be like, oh, it was in Eve. There was 2 letters missing because Eve was a saint, ST, and then it becomes Steve and shit like that. But it's got lost in the translation. But we resurrected it. And bro, I'm telling you, it's that easy.
That's crazy.
Slide few letters, slide few timelines, slide few characters, Josephus and all these guys. That's it. You got a new story. Yo, remix it with Saturn Aquarius.
And we don't even understand because we don't understand the starting point. But the initial Torah, the initial write in the initial Hebrew, don't they write it's written without the vowel aspects, or the consonants are interchangeable, or the vowels are interchangeable, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's already set up to be something like that, you know. So for them to do something like that is not out of place. They're doing exactly what they were meant to be doing with that material, which is funny. Which is funny. But yeah, that's that struggle between going forward. We're trying to make a tradition around going forward. We're trying to make a structure and solidify about moving into the future, but we're gonna see how our emotions, the stability is letting us know about the bricks that we're setting within this association, and whether we can find security within the global collective, the role that we're playing in society, or if something needs to change up, whether it be our associates or the information that we're collecting. And that's what Saturday is looking like. Sunday is looking like with the moon. We have the moon in Gemini now, squaring the sun in Pisces. How do you think this square is going to play out?
So right now the moon is putting us in an emotional state to be more communicative, communicating abroad in decisive way about whatever we've been trying to stabilize and ground. So if we knew what we've been grounding when the moon was in Taurus, so now we could emotionally be communicative and not be so free. Our words do not have a weight for them. This is why the moon in Taurus is important. But where we're emotionally communicating, analyzing, and what we're talking about, it deals with what we're having dreams and illusion about. Since the new moon in Pisces, our communication, our sense of connecting, it should be guided with that. And the square to the sun and Pisces forcing you to become more aware of that. So it's the sun. It deals with your awareness. It deals with you taking action and paying attention to your dreams, your illusion, and how you're gonna go take action on these things and be creative with them. But the square is gonna force you to go through a learning opportunity on how to incorporate your emotional communicative ability with the way you're taking action when it comes to your dreams and illusion. So it's gonna be quite hard for you to mix these two your actions and your emotion, but your emotions focus on air element and then your actions focus on the water element. It's like it's almost backwards because the sun deals with your action, masculine energy, and then it's in a water sign, a water feminine element, and then your moon is a feminine sign, a chakra, but it's in a masculine element. So it's like a mumbo jumbo type of energy.
For sure. Confusion again with the mutable square. Definitely going to be a lot of confusion and not understanding how you feel because of the scatteredness of our emotions within Gemini and the cerebralness. We're going to want to be emotionally more versatile and trying, where we're focusing on dreams and illusions. And when you're in the subconscious, look at if our moon is being versatile and being all inquisitive, so we're expansive and scattered with our emotions, so a lot of things can soak up our emotions. What do you think that's going to do to our subconscious mind, if you get what I mean? So you could be entertaining a lot of things emotionally that ends up being a detriment to your belief system, that ends up being a detriment or just a distraction to your dreams, and maybe help facilitating more delusions, more illusions, more false realities, and not solidifying a more universal truth, more universal love, more universal acceptance, and kind of getting forget at that. Maybe you're wanting to try different things. Maybe this will get you to you're idealizing things with the sun in Pisces, but maybe the moon in Gemini may encourage you to go and change things and try things around, and you end up fucking the whole situation that you were building up. It's like making soup or something like that, and you made the soup, it's bang, it's the best soup you've ever made in your life, and you start thinking, what if I added some cinnamon to this bitch? You already have bare spices, and you already went with the Italian spicing. You didn't go with the Indian, spice. You already went Italian, So you don't go adding turmeric. Yeah, you don't go adding ginger or something like that. You mess up the palate tastes. But you being too versatile, you wanted to go and spread your emotions out and doing all of that. You go and add some cinnamon, and you ruin the whole soup. And now you have this nasty ass soup that you have dealing with within that confusion. Now you don't know what to do. So try not to be too inquisitive, and try to understand and intuitively connect with your dreams and what it is that you're trying to connect to, what it is that you're trying to visualize, what belief system that you're trying to have, and emotionally explore just those things, nothing new. So you could really spread yourself thin on Sunday with the moon in this energy. So you have to be careful of that. Make sure that there's meaning and importance and potency in the things that you are entertaining on Sunday.
And allow your awareness as it being focused on your dreams and illusion to be guided with the information that you're going to receive when it comes to the moon in Gemini. So you don't become so... Because Gemini's already in La La Land and then Pisces is already in La La Land. They could put you in way more La La Land too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the
100%.
distraction, just the pull to engage in the air element, the mutable aspect, and then the water element, the mutable aspect.
It can even get you to start and analyzing your dreams a little bit too much. You know, like too much details, doubling the details. Or how are you gonna get the paper to write the book? Like nigga, you don't even know how to write or the idea of the book yet. And you're talking about getting the paper and shit like that, or things along those lines where you can really talk yourself out of certain something that you care about, or distractions really come about. So you really have to be careful with that energy, with that square energy. It's gonna teach you on how to focus on your dreams or what's distracting you from your dreams in your surroundings.
And pay the right attention to the right information. So when the moon goes to Cancer, you know how to connect your dreams or illusion properly.
And you could become more familiar with the information that you were then curious about, and then you were then experimenting with.
And then you go backtrack where you what information you got within your immediate surrounding that made you feel uncomfortable when the moon goes in Cancer too.
Exactly.
And that's something
just building on that awareness.
And that's something we go through every day. You breathe, and then your respiratory system react. I bet if you go to different environments, different work environment, your home, they're all different. Give you different ways of breathing and things like that. But we don't pay attention to how it affects our respiratory system, or the mucus buildup, or when we blow our nose and shit like that. Like that transition between Gemini, respiratory system, and Cancer, lymphatic system.
That's facts. Even the Cancer, it's funny. You know, like when you like say you go somewhere familiar, that's when you're able to take a dump, or that's when you're able to pee, or that's when you're able to do something that process comes through.
A lot of people
when you're outside your fun, you come home, you're sick or something like that. You sneezing or some shit like that. It's always when you get comfortable.
Yeah, like a lot of people wouldn't take a shit or a piss like in other people like washrooms or places like other places only in their home and shit like that, because this is a more comfortable place for you to take a shit, to detox, you know.
Yeah, man. I swear my body knows, man. My body knows whether I'm home or not. That's facts. But yeah, guys, that's the week. That's how the week's looking. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check out our website, truspace.biz. Check out our Instagram, truspace_. And yeah, catch you guys later. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. And see you guys.
Take care.